So you're looking to get into photography and you've only got £500 to spend. What are the best cameras you can buy for your money? More often than not, it's probably good that you get something new because it lasts a little bit longer. However, there are a lot of used cameras that actually could be perfect for you and what you are doing. At the end of the day, it does come down to kind of what you want to get out of your photography and what you're creating. When it comes down to when you start off, a great opportunity for you could actually be buy some pre-owned cameras, pre-loved. I pretty much founded my career off of used cameras. It was a great way to actually get started. I used to be a salesman in the store, and today I literally walked into Camera Centre UK and asked them, what used cameras have you got? Around £500. That's what I want to spend. This camera is the HX99. The camera actually gives you a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to spec. But it's also a really great compact camera. It comes with a flip around LCD screen which will allow you to do some vlogging, but also it allows you to take selfies with friends and stuff like that. It's also really good for street photography as it does actually have a little EVF which will allow you to see what shots you're getting. This camera is incredibly good when it comes to the price. It's just $399, and if you're looking for a compact camera that pretty much does everything you would need a compact camera to be able to do, this one is probably one of the best cameras bang for buck that you can get. This camera is the GX9, and for £500 you can get that and a lens second hand. This camera is a great camera to start doing some filmmaking with, as it has 4K capabilities inside. It is a Micro Four Thirds sensor, so it's not as good in low light, but for £500, I truly believe it's a steal, and it allows you to get started. The other thing when it comes to mirrorless cameras is you can actually adapt old film lenses really easily because they don't have the mirror box in. So for a really low price, you can actually get an adapter and a lens, and it's a great way to really start doing some really interesting stuff with your photography and video. If you want to hit around about the £500 mark and get an incredibly good camera out of it, then look no further than the 800D. The 800D is a beginner level APS-C camera. It kind of falls in the mid tier when it comes to the Canon super cheap range and then the more expensive kind of better cameras. So it's a really good option if you're not too bothered about going for the 4K and just want to go for the sort of like sensor size and getting the most out of your camera. The 800D, I believe, is a really good option. For just £450, you've got a camera there that is incredibly capable and can do a lot of things, and you can get a lot out of it as well. What I'm going to show you now is the OG king of video. Back in the day, it's a little bit outdated when it comes to its specs. It opened up the videography industry for a lot of people that didn't want to spend £30,000 on a camera, and that's this one's, the 5D Mark II. It was the first full-frame DSLR to introduce video capabilities to it. And then with this, it ended up being used on a lot of really big shows. I even believe it was used in the production of Breaking Bad, which is amazing if you think about it. The camera itself is not necessarily super high specs. In fact, it was the first specs that came out for video in a full-frame camera. So this setup here, the 5D Mark II with a nifty 50 plastic fantastic, is just £300. Although yes, it doesn't necessarily have the same specs as the other cameras that you have there, this is a full-frame camera. This is what pro photographers have been shooting on for a really long time. And it gives you the opportunity to do a lot with your shots and stuff like that. Whatever you put on the camera is actually going to be the focal length of the lenses. So your 50s, rather than being super tight, they're actually still tight, but not that tight. And this is something that's really interesting about used cameras these days, is because some of the older full-frame cameras are actually going at a fraction of the cost, and it's actually a really interesting time. If you want to get straight into a full-frame camera, it is possible at a sort of budget option. Of course, the full-frame cameras, when it comes to the more expensive options, are still super pricey, but it's a great option for yourself if you're looking to spend around about £300, maybe even get yourself another couple of lenses, but getting yourself a nifty 50 for 5D Mark II, or if you want to get a 5D Mark III, you can pick them up super cheap at the moment as well, and they actually have even better specs than this camera. But if you want to have bang for your buck, the 5D Mark II is an interesting option. Yes, they're old, but it doesnnt necessarily mean you can't use them still. Last but not least, I picked up this one. This is the Nikon D610, and with a lens, just their normal 50mm, you're looking to spend about £450. But when it comes to these old Nikon DSLRs, they have a secret trick. Nikon, throughout the DSLR range as well as their old film cameras, actually share the same mount. So a lot of older lenses you can still use on models like this, and it actually gives you a really great option to start building out a collection, get into it, fall in love with photography, and then look to get yourself something a little bit more expensive later on. But this camera is full frame. There are some pre-owned budget cameras that you can look into if you are looking to get into photography or video, and it gives you the option to be able to do a lot of really interesting things with. When it comes to used cameras, yes, they're not necessarily brand new out of the box and they've been used a couple of times, but the cameras themselves offer you the opportunity to see if you really want to get into doing photo or if you wanted to get into doing video. It's a great option for you to get started at the end of the day, and I hope this has kind of helped you decide that a little bit more. If you've got any questions or any suggestions as to other used cameras you'd like to see on a list like this in the future, then put it in down below, and it would be really interesting to see kind of what you guys think. Have a good day.